Hello and welcome to episode 83 of the Rhody Rumble podcast. Today I'm joined by former Rhody outfielder and the newest member of the Miami Marlins organization, Mark Coley. Mark, thanks again for taking the time. Congratulations. How are you today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm good. I appreciate taking the time. I hope you again like the hat. It was
Yeah.
actually my Little League hat, but I had to throw it back a little bit with the old logo and dig it up for this interview. So, yeah, throw it back to the old Florida Marlins logo. But
Yeah, I like it.
awesome. Again, I'm sure you're very busy this summer. After you officially, put the pen to the paper, you're officially a Miami Marlin. Just going from the Key blue to that Miami Marlin blue, what does it feel like? Kind of walk me through this process and just what the last week or so has been like for you.
Yeah, I mean, it's kind of surreal. I think anybody who's ever played a sport and one point probably had aspirations to make it pro. So the fact I am where I am now is just something that I'm grateful for, and the opportunity that I have, I don't take it for granted. Because I know a lot of people would kill to be in the position that I am, and I'm just so blessed, and I'm putting the time and the work and the effort, and it was noticed, and I'm able to be here. And in the past week, it's been a big adjustment, especially playing in this heat down here and humidities. It's been a little rough at first because I've always wanted to play in warm weather states, but now that I'm experiencing it, and just it's almost like a be careful what you wish for because it's 9 degrees and humid every day, and just getting adjusted and acclimated to that. But the practices and workouts have been going well. And, yeah, I'm just excited to be here, and then I just can't wait to start my pro career.
Yeah, absolutely. So going back a little bit to just a couple weeks ago, very recently, you hear your name called the 17th round, 503rd pick. It's the Miami Marlins. Where were you when you received the call, and were you expecting to get drafted? And if so, would you think it would be the Marlins calling, or talk me through, the MLB draft?
Yeah, so I was expecting a call a little bit from the Marlins, but I didn't know when. Obviously, draft day is those 3 days is very hectic. Even there, so you really don't know what is going on. For me, they saw me a little bit early in the season, and I got hurt unfortunately, but I did enough to keep their interest to when I got back, and then play the last couple games this season, invite me down to a workout. And then when that all finished up, uh, I knew they liked me. I didn't know when they were going to take me. So when my name was called, it was something that was like I can't describe the feeling that I had. It was it was a big relief to finally hear it. I was with my parents in my basement, and just think of like I came to my knees. I was hugging my parents. I was calling my sisters, and it was just a really nice moment for me.
And where were you when you got the call from the Marlins?
I was home, so
Okay.
I tried not to watch the draft that day because the anxiety that was going on was through the roof. Like, every time my phone rang, I got a text, like my heart would just speed up so much. I tried to keep calm best as possible, and then just be right when my name was called.
Yeah, and you continue to talk about just this, dream or just this goal from day one of making it to the show and making it to the big leagues. So I want to backtrack a little bit and kind of ask a question that I normally ask some of the guests that I've interviewed, which is just what is your why or what motivates you? Is it just that aspiration or goal to make it to the big leagues, or, why do you do it? What motivates you?
I think it's the nature of the sport. Uh, People have a nickname for baseball called the game of failure because you can go 3 for 10 and be a Hall of Famer potentially.
Right.
So the game is just that hard, and I think I just love my competitive nature is just very drawn to that, and just try to be the best possible player in the sport where you're bound to fail more than you succeed. It's something that not a lot of people can have the mental fortitude to do, and then to play at a high level and just be consistent in your confidence when you can go through stretches where you go 0 for 20 or 2 for 30 and just be able to show up every single day and have the opportunity to play the sport, put bat on ball is something that I was always drawn to even as a child, and it just led up to my ambition. It just kept growing, growing more and more. And I knew with the ability that I had that, like I have the ability to go play in the pros one day, and that's what I'm on the path to do.
Yeah, absolutely. I always said that baseball was the hardest sport, and you talk a little bit about that competitive nature. I mean, just, staying healthy consistently year after year, going out there every single day, and like you said, trying to put a bat on the ball, put the ball in play, and then obviously you as an outfielder make plays in the outfield, defensively. It's just one of the hardest sports. So to continue to have that, I guess, passion or just that ambition is the word you used, and go out there every single day. And I mean, you've had it tough too, especially with the injury this past year, which we'll get to. But I credit you in that, you just stay to that goal, which is to make it to the big leagues and, again, fulfill your dream one day, which is awesome. But I want to backtrack again. You are from New England. You're a Bloomfield, Connecticut native. What was it about the University of Rhode Island at a high school that you knew you wanted to play collegiately, stay in New England and play collegiately in Kingston?
A big self thing was the coaching staff. Just their coaching style and environment they fostered was something that really was attractive to me. As well as when I was getting recruited, the engineering department was going through all its renovations, and I I majored in mechanical engineering, so that was a big factor. As well as that, my teammate through my 5 years at Rhode Island was John Morrison, and we were on the same travel ball team growing up, and he also got an offer from Rhode Island around the same time I did, and seeing his process and when he committed a little bit before me, just his reasoning on why he wanted to go to Rhode Island, just it did partially influence mine, and just be able to go in to college knowing somebody was also a key factor. So all those things just all combine to make a perfect place for me to play college baseball.
Yeah, I like to say everything happens for a reason. And, obviously your fit at URI and Rhode Island's success over the last few years does not go unnoticed. Actually, that segues me into the next question, which is the coaching staff. And I want to follow that up with you becoming the eighth player in Rhode Island history under Coach Tirado to either have signed or get drafted by an MLB team since Coach Tirado took over the program in 2015. What does that say about Coach Tirado just as a coach, as a person, his coaching staff, and just the impact that he's had on his players, at least for you over the last 4 years?
Yeah, I mean, I can't speak for anyone else, but I can speak for me when I say, he's the definition of player's coach because he didn't take the time just develop me as a player, but he also took the time to help develop me as a person. And I think that's going to carry you much further, and not only in pro ball, but just in life, just being able to handle the adversities and things life comes at you. And not just Coach Rado, Coach O'Brien, Coach Fish, Coach Heist, like all those guys were there, and they were consistent in showing up every single day. And just seeing Coach O'Brien, like for instance, like he had kids during my tenure there. Is just like how he managed and how he handled that. It's still showing up every day, and Coach Heist and Coach Fish staying late or coming early to work with guys, like all that. Just they led by example, and that's something that I'll always be grateful for because they taught me how to go about my business. How to be a better ball player, like the skill aspect, and just how to be a stand-up man. And that's something that, you know, you don't get at a lot of places. So I was blessed to get it from Rhode Island.
Yeah, and I feel like a coach is so important, especially in baseball. I mean, it's one of the biggest team sports out there. Having a coach or a mentor is just so important, and having the right one, you can see, how well performance works individually and as a team. So having a coach like Coach Dorado, I mean, he's been there for so long. He's held, the program on his back as a player and now as a coach. I've talked to a couple of your teammates, Zach Fernandez, Billy Butler. They've told me all similar things about Coach Dorado and just how much he cares just about the game and just how much he cares about the program. And again, I think that really does lead to the success within the Atlantic 10 and just these last couple of years. And I can tell that he's starting to kind of get back towards that postseason success. Obviously, I graduated this past year, but it seems like the program, you guys weren't that far off. Every year, you just get one step closer. So, again, to have the right coaches or coaching staff, it really does make an impact, especially in baseball. So that's really cool to see and to hear from another one of you guys and how much he's impacted the team. But I want to go to actually your junior year because you broke out in 2021, your junior year. So we were kind of robbed of our sophomore years during the pandemic in 2020. But just to read off some stats from your junior year, you hit 274 with a slugging percentage of 487 and an on-base percentage of 414 and batted in 15 extra base hits with 9 doubles, 2 triples, and 4 home runs. Can you just share, what made that season in particular just so special for you?
Um, I think because I faced a lot of adversity at the beginning of that season, actually. First couple weeks I struggled. It was tough, and just the fact that not only did the coaches not give up on me, but the team also that they were behind me and they really picked me up when I was going through those early struggles, and that helped me and it supported me until I hit my stride, and then from there it was only up from there, and uh, I mean that was big to be able to have the faith in the guy next to you, the guy in front of you and behind you in the lineup to pick you up when you're down, and that's what playing baseball in a team sport is all about. So that, I mean, that culture that we had, it was something that was big for me because it really helped support me through those early struggles to finally start producing in a way I know I could.
Yeah, and like you said earlier, baseball is one of those sports where you can go 3 for 10 and still be a Hall of Famer, but
Yeah,
it's so easy to get cold. It's so easy to warm up and get hot. But the funny thing I've seen just from calling a lot of Rhode Island baseball games and just from seeing this team play is that you all guys kind of feed off of each other. DePino will get a big hit or Billy Butler get a big hit, Kopak, anyone, and whoever's next in the lineup would follow that up with another extra base hit or a base hit. So it really kind of just goes to show you that, the players that are surrounding you within the lineup, they really do feed off of each other. It's not just the fan energy, but it's the people that you're playing with on the field, people that you're hitting around. I mean, good players will make other players good play. When playing with each other makes you guys perform at, your best ability. And I really saw that at its best when watching Rhode Island baseball. Again, you'll see games just this past year where there was 4 home runs in 1 inning. I mean, I've never
yeah,
seen anything like that before, but it really
that's
just goes
crazy.
to show you, that good hitters in the lineup will make other hitters good and see the right pitches and then finally put the ball in play. So really it's so nice to see that. And it's so cool to see how the coaches have been recruiting and how the chemistry, year in and year out, there's different players coming in and out, but really that chemistry stays the same and you guys continue to improve year after year. So that's really cool to see as well.
Yeah, definitely.
But jump into this last year, just again to read off some stats, you hit 316 on the year, 8 doubles, 8 home runs, and made the NEIBA All-Star game. You did suffer that broken jaw on March 29th at Northeastern. But I think the highlight of the season was senior week, May 18th against VCU. If I remember correctly, I was calling that game for ESPN Plus. That was an important series too, because you were kind of neck and neck with VCU.
Yeah,
And
yeah.
I believe the last team to win that series would be the
We're
last team into the playoffs.
yeah.
So that was a crucial series for you guys. After missing 50 days, you finally returned to the lineup. You hit that crucial 3-run home run. Again, I was on the call for that on ESPN Plus, and I don't think in the 4 years that I was calling games at URI, I've ever heard Bill Beck louder than that. It was pretty cool. It's a special moment, I'm sure, for you. Can you just talk a little bit about the injury, how you've recovered from that, and also just what it was like to, go yard in that moment?
Yeah, so it's starting with the injury. It was tough because it's happened at a time when I was playing well. I felt I was at the top of my game. Some teams were interested, and it just everything just stopped. It was just one day I was playing, the next like I'm in the hospital, and I'm not sure if I'm going to be able to return back to the team before the season is over. And by the grace of God, I got hurt and happened to get hurt in Boston, which has a lot of great hospitals nearby. So I was able to go to the hospital right away, where they were able to get me in a couple of days later and wire my jaw shut and just start the healing process earlier than what it would have been in any other place. And that allowed me to get back. And I went through a little ups and downs, and mindset said, "Oh, get back in time. Well, I lost all this weight. Well, be able to still play at a high level." So going through all of that, and then finally coming back, and then in the first game, hitting a home run, which is not just something that was cool, but also something the team needed because, like you said, we were fighting for our lives at that point. If we lost that
Right.
series, that would have been into our season. So all that just kind of like the hard work it took to get back and the team being around me, the big series, and like it just all came together in that one moment. So I don't think I fully like took it into after the game. I was like, man, like I just did that. That was cool.
Yeah.
um, but yeah, it was something that I'm definitely going to remember for a long, long time. Just being able to do that in that moment, in that scenario where I just came back and, I was still very weak. I felt, but I was still able to hit a home run. And it was just really cool. And that's something that, yeah, like I said, well, I would take with me for a long time.
What did this injury teach you about yourself? I mean, what did you learn about yourself? How did you recover? Talk me through a little bit of that recovery process for you, because that's not an easy injury to recover from. I'm sure a lot of doctors and some of your teammates probably thought you'd be out for the rest of the year, when you break a jaw like that.
Yeah. So, like I said, baseball is a game of adversity. And, one thing I love about that, it has a lot of life lessons in it. And,
Right.
that was just a time where there was a lot of adversity. I didn't know what was going to happen. And only thing I can do, it's a cliche baseball term, which control what I can control, right? So I went through, got surgery, did everything I did to fix my jaw, and then um, I made sure I ate and drink as much so I don't lose as much weight. I did lose a ton of weight, but when I had the date where I knew I can come back, I knew I'd be cleared, circled it. I was just like, all right, do whatever you need to do to be ready for when you come back. That's the only thing I could do. There's nothing I could do about missing all those games and the conference games and how the team was doing. Only thing I can do is go back and be a good teammate. Make sure I pick up my teammates when they're down. Just be there for support. Make sure they see me and uh, do the necessary work. And that's what I did because I had a decision to make: either wallow in it or get over it and do what I need to do. And that's what I did.
Yeah, absolutely. And how are you feeling now, I should ask?
Oh, I feel good. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
Okay.
So all healed up and
Good.
yeah.
Yeah, that's great to hear. And just going back to that home run before I move on to the next question, it seemed like, and I kind of said it on the broadcast, like it seemed like you kind of had a chip on your shoulder, and you just wanted to get out there and compete. What did it feel like again, just to kind of hit that home run? You said you were kind of in utter shock, but did you have that on your mind for a while where you're like, first pitch I see when I come back, I'm just gonna go yard? And what did that kind of feel like when I think as it was it the first pitch of that at bat? I don't remember,
Yeah,
but
first pitch of the
yeah,
bat.
so right when you got up there, it seemed like you've had that on your mind for a while.
Yeah, it's funny because like I was joking around about it, like, oh yeah, I'm just gonna take a daddy hack, like I'm just gonna try to go yard, but then like it actually happened. It's just like man, like I really just did that, but it was just I don't know, it was something I didn't put too much thought in. I was just trying to go into those at bats, just be calm and not let the nerves get to me and just do what I always did. And like you said, I did have a little bit of chip on my shoulder just because I was having a good year.
Right.
And I got cut short or got cut in half. And like I said, I had pro aspirations. So like it did like I felt it hurt those at the time because teams were interested and they were just like, oh well, he's gone for 50 days. Like let's go
Yeah.
look at somebody else. Because some teams even know I even came back. So it was just like um I was just telling myself, be undeniable, like do something where they can't deny you. And the fact that I was able to do that in the first game back was really cool.
Yeah, and one of just, I'm sure, a lot of great moments and memories, over the last 4 years at URI. So when you reflect on those memories and those moments over the last 4 years, do you have one that stands out, or do you have a memory or story that you kind of think of when you reflect on URI? And also, what are you going to miss the most just about playing for Rhode Island and just this entire experience?
Oh man. I don't know if I could just say one memory, but I know for a lot of guys, even though that year was cut short in 2020 when we went down to Arizona and went 3-1 on the weekend, that was just a really cool trip. We had all everything firing all cylinders. Like pitching was good, hitting was good, and the fact they went down and beat two teams who were previously in the tournament a year before, and just played really well. It was core memory. Man, there's a whole bunch.
Yeah.
I know for me personally, like I love seeing my teammates do well. So like my friend, my brother, when Calvin, like he had his hit his first home run this year. That was a cool memory. Just seeing Billy go off this whole year. Um, like
Especially after the year before too with his
yeah,
injury.
yeah.
Yeah.
So like seeing all that was just like that's something I take with me because I put in so much work with these guys. So seeing them succeed just as much as my success is something that was really cool for me. And the thing that I'll miss the most is man, I would say maybe like just like the locker room atmosphere, just going in after games before practice, just what it was like traveling with the guys, like on those bus trips,
Yeah.
like sometimes it would get like really rowdy or guys can get real stinky when they're farting on 12-hour bus trips, but like those
Oh
are the things
man.
you remember, you know.
Yeah.
Just having cookouts with the team, like those are the things that like I'm going to cherish and miss because they come once in a lifetime. And, once we all go our separate ways, it's probably never going to happen again where we're all together like that. So I
Yeah.
think those are the times I'm going to miss the most at Rhode Island.
Yeah, I think that's a great answer too, because it just goes to show you baseball is the best team sport out there. I mean, it's not all about the individual success and performance. It's about being with your teammates. And also like I like what you said about seeing, Calvin hit his first home run and watching Billy kind of go on a tear after his injury the year before, which I spoke to him about, and that wasn't easy to recover from either. So just kind of supporting your teammates, even when you're injured or even when you are playing. I mean, that it just goes to show you how good of a teammate you have to be, especially when you have the same goal on your mind, which is to win, and you want to succeed at this level. So I thought that was a great answer. Kind of just backtracking a few more questions on Major League Baseball here, but you grew up in Connecticut. Did you have a favorite team? Was it the Red Sox, a favorite player growing up? And do you model yourself after anyone?
So my favorite team was the Yankees. It's
Okay.
like Connecticut's like split in half. You
Yep.
either a Yankees fan or a Red Sox fan. And I had a couple different favorite players. Obviously, Derek Jeter. Like everybody loved Jeter. Mariano Rivera, I revered him. Um, uh, who else? Like current guys right now, like I'm a big fan of George Springer. I love Mookie Betts. Ellie De La Cruz is like killing it right
Oh
now. So he
man.
just brings so much excitement to the game. So I love that. Um, in his prime, Andrew McCutchen was like I revered him. He was cool. Like I love watching him play. So a lot of athletic outfielders like myself. Like I'm big fans of.
Yeah.
Curtis Anderson is another one.
Yeah. Yeah,
Those
for sure.
guys.
For sure. Yeah, I'm a Yankee fan myself as well. So I grew up on Long Island, so I'm a big fan of some of those guys, Judge, Stanton.
Yeah,
Surprised
yeah.
you didn't name any Marlins. I thought you were gonna go with Stanton when you said you were a Yankee fan, but
I mean, I didn't grow up seeing Marlins games, so
I
I
got
can't
you.
front.
Maybe that answer will change soon. But yeah,
Yeah, a couple of years.
they've had a few good outfielders in the past. Stanton, Yelich, I think Ozuna was there as well. So a couple of good guys out there. Marte. So that's pretty cool to see. Like I said, do you model yourself after any of those guys, or do you kind of just take things from each one of them and have your own sort of style.
Yeah, like it's kind of what you said in the latter part, just kind of take from different areas and make it into my own.
Sure.
Like I would say I take inspiration from guys, but I want to say I model myself after anybody because
Okay.
I want to be unique. I want to be myself, but you learn from those who were there before you, and so you just study what they do and understand that, and then try to apply it to your own personal goals and aspirations. And for me, my that'd be my skills and how I swing the bat, how I track baseballs and things like that.
Yeah, and I'm sure having the privilege of playing out there with Calvin and Billy and even Eric Genter, learning from them as well. I mean, I just think of Calvin McCall and some of the plays he made in center
Yeah, yeah,
field,
yeah.
unbelievable on Sports Center a couple of times. So,
Hmm.
crazy. But yeah, I think like you said, just taking little things from guys that you played with, guys that you've watched growing up, just makes you into a better ball player, as you grow and develop. So that's pretty cool to see. So just again, coming full circle, switching gears to the Marlins, just how you've been preparing this off season. It's a quick turnaround. You get drafted by the Marlins. Now you're joining the team. What is your timeline? And I guess you're already down in Florida training. Kind of walk me through, what you've been up to.
Yeah, so it was a very quick turnaround. I got drafted and about less than 48 hours later, I was in Florida. So
Wow.
yeah, it was quick. So ever since I've been down here, just been they've been taking us through a couple workouts. We've been hitting on the field, defensive work, getting acclimated to the weather. Like I said earlier, me and the coordinator, it's just how the Marlins do things. They told us for the first month they're kind of just going to leave us alone and let us go through our own routines and do what got us here. Obviously, adjustments will need to be made because nobody gets drafted like major league ready. But so yeah, that's what I've been doing since I've been down here. They said they're gonna assign us to affiliate either tomorrow or Tuesday, actually. So I'll find out very soon where I'll be going and then just start my pro career in terms of playing uh, later on this week.
Okay. And do you expect that to be like single A, high A, low A, like somewhere within that level, or you don't know?
Somewhere, yeah, we
Okay.
really don't know. Like,
Right.
so it's just one day at a time. So.
Right. Is that kind of in like an anxious feeling, kind of not knowing what's coming next, like the unexpected, or do you kind of just roll with the punches and sort of just live out this dream?
Yeah, kind of just roll with it.
Right.
I got here. The I got my foot in the door, so now I know that as soon as I get my opportunity and wherever I start with, either rookie ball, low A, high A, wherever it is, like I just start working from there, and then doesn't matter where I go, just I know I have to put the work in and performance in, and to make my dream come true.
So now I'm not really too sure. Maybe you can explain to me. Do you join the team right away? Is because I think the team is in the middle of the season, whichever affiliate you join. Is it right
Yeah,
away or do you kind of join like practice squad or something like that?
yeah, you just join the team right away, and you just play with them through the end of the season, which is for rookie ball, be the end of August. For low A, that's the end of September.
Yeah. So have you developed any like some chemistry with some of your future teammates? I'm sure you've met a couple of the other draft picks since coming to Florida. What has that kind of been like to get to know some people down in Florida?
Yeah, it's been cool. My roommate, Angelo Despina, so he's from Georgia Tech. And it was cool just meeting him and, we clicked really well. So it was nice having him as a roommate. So I was blessed in that aspect. And meeting all the other guys and hearing their experiences and how they got here is something that was really cool. Just, seeing what it was like playing at all these different schools and kind of getting that behind the scenes look at, what their process was like and how it got us all to this spot now. It's cool.
Yeah, very cool. I always say that sports just brings together a sense of community, whether it's fans or players, and you guys all have something in common. You all have different paths or different journeys, different, upbringings and backgrounds, but you all kind of come into the same place and kind of create that chemistry, create those bonds early on, similar to when you got to URI. So I think that's really cool. Two more questions for you.
Yep.
What do you hope to bring or what do you hope to accomplish, just on this next chapter with the Miami Marlins? What are you hoping to bring with you? And where do you see yourself in 5 to 10 years?
You know, just on a baseball side, just bring the skill that I have and the athletic ability I have. I bring my speed, my power, um, just ability to be a threat on the bases. As base running is becoming a very important part of baseball, especially new rules with bigger bases and only two pickoffs and disengagements and pitch clock where game is sped up a lot more and just becoming a force in all aspects and just being a toolsy player. And then as a person, just someone who the community can look at and relate to and be someone that's present and that's there. And that's something that, I have a passion for, just be able to go out and just be a vital member of my community and give back in some way, which is also, something that going back to my time at Rhode Island, just seeing that from my teammate Billy, just seeing what he did and the positive change is something that's inspirational. And I know how much of an impact that can have on not only the next generation, but just the people who are around you. And you never know how one act of kindness can affect somebody. So on those two sides of the ball are what I hope to bring to the Marlins organization.
Sure. And what is your ultimate goal? What are you hoping to accomplish when it's all said and done?
Bring World Series.
There you go.
I'm
There you
here to
go.
win. Huh?
Of course, of course. Lastly, Mark, what are you looking forward to the most just about this next chapter? You sort of answered it already, but just what are you looking forward to? You're gonna get to the show, and what are you looking forward to when that debut, when that first pitch or first opportunity to kind of make a fly out in center, left, or right? What are you looking forward to the most?
Um, I'm a big Kobe fan, so like I take a lot of inspiration from him and just like a lot of things that he said is just that enjoying the process, enjoying the road and what it took to get there. I look back and some of my fondest memories are those tough workouts or those long nights or those early mornings and those hitting sessions. And then so when I get there, I can take that all in. And when I have my first MLB at bat, it's just like um that kind of joyous feeling of like all the fruits of my labor are paying off. So I think just that reflection I'll have like afterwards, that moment where it's just like, man, like all that work, like it wasn't for nothing. Like I got here, I did something that I put my mind to in all these years and dedication. I think that's what's really gonna um what I'm looking forward to the most because like I know I had that feeling when I graduated. I know I had that feeling when I drafted, and I know I'm gonna have that feeling when I make my debut.
Yeah, and we're all looking forward to seeing that. I'm sure everyone in the Rhody community is rooting for you and is excited for you. Congratulations again on this huge milestone. I know you and Addison are definitely making Rhody proud, and thank you again for taking the time and taking this opportunity to get to know you. And good luck.
Yeah, thank you for having me. I really appreciate it.
Thank you.
Yeah.